Yo, Charles, how you feeling, my boy?
Hey, good as always. How's it going, brother?
Good, man. You know me, dog. Living good, working hard, and I got this damn hurricane up there. I can see it on the damn PC, but outside, it just really feels like there's a hurricane above us right now.
Yeah. I don't keep up with that typically, but the gyms have the TVs on, and I saw that tracker on there. I was like that thing's not that far from here. I thought that was going to be like. Usually, I hear about it, and it's like, way out there, but it's like right around the corner. I had no clue.
Yeah, I had no clue either. Yesterday, I was playing ball. One of my boys at the courts in LA Fitness was like, "Oh, like I don't think people are gonna come out tomorrow and play or Wednesday because the hurricane's gonna hit us." I'm like, "Hurricane? What the hell are you talking about?" Like, yeah, the hurricane is down. I'm like, "Damn, okay, shit." My job didn't tell me anything.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed it.
Well, guys, welcome into another episode of the G Perspective. I got my boy Charles CL Kit in the mix. We got a lot of things to talk about, a few topics, but one of the topics is going to take a pretty long time because the Bleacher Report came out with their own NBA top 100 list through all time. We're going to go over that a little bit. We're going to go over two signings that happened with the New York Jets, a little extension signing, and a player that was diagnosed with some blood clots, and now he is cleared to play and come back. But before we get into it, if you guys are into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel where we offer sports gambling slips for you guys to get winnings from $10 to $50 to $100 a day. It's only $10 a month, and there's another way that you can make money with our affiliate program. So if you're interested in that, you'll see the link pop up on your screen, or you'll see my social media accounts. Just slide in my DM. We'll start a conversation to see how you can get you on and popping. And please do not forget to like and subscribe, por favor. Please support your boy. Send some subs and some likes and some links to your friends and family or even strangers out there in the streets, man. I really appreciate it. But Charles, bro, two great signings today for the New York Jets. I mean, buddy, big time money for Garrett Wilson right now. Dude, agreed to 4-year, $130 million extension, including $90 million, which is the fourth most in a wide receiver's contract. NFL history that a receiver has received an average over $31 million after playing only 3 seasons. The $32.5 million average in his new deal is the fifth highest among NFL wide receivers. Let's just stick with him right now, and then we'll bring up the next player on who the Jets gave. But with Wilson, you got any thoughts on this? Is it well deserving for him? Do you think that he could have got more? You think he should have got less? Are the Jets making a mistake? What do you think?
No, I think I'm pretty good with it. I mean, he's getting paid a little more than AJ Brown's getting paid over in Philly, which he's not a better receiver than AJ Brown, but at the same time, we know that's not how that works, right? Situational and timing. The Jets are trying to finally build this foundation of, okay, here's our young core. We got a new coach, Aaron Glenn, coming in. He's kind of saying the right things that the players like to hear. And I'm not saying he's a player type coach, but it seems like he's really bonding well there. This is a team that's come off a lot of dysfunction, given up a lot for the whole Aaron Rodgers situation in general, just to try to make that work. And that did nothing. Zach Wilson didn't really help from the years before that. So in on Justin Fields now, I don't really think that that's a long-term solution. But even still, you got to try somewhere. So you got a young player there at quarterback. You got a young receiver here that's, could be your 1-2 punch for 5 years or whatever it is with that extension now. A lot of money, but it is what it is at this point in the game. That's just how the contracts work. So you weren't going to get them much cheaper, and you don't want to end up like, Washington, where they had the McLaurin situation, because you know how last year Garrett Wilson he did well with his own personal stats, but there was a lot of times where he was just unhappy or voicing his opinion. There's not too many players, kind of like, I'm a Bengals fan. There's not too many players that say they want to be a Jet for life. Him, Sauce Gardner, two guys that have kind of voiced that. So I'm glad to see, they're at least taking the time to say, okay, let's build around this young team. And this is the foundation we set, kind of like the Burrow and Chase situation, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I like it for Garrett Wilson for sure. I mean, like, dude, the guy's a great route runner. He's a great catcher. he could be on the top of the list with anybody in the league right now on the receivers. I think he's well deserved for this money, and I think it's good that the Jets, they lock him in. I've always said that if you got some great players, make sure they stick around. Make sure they're going to play for your team and not someone else's team, and then later on you regret it. I feel like the Jets did a good job here, giving him his money. They come to an agreement of 130 million with 90 guaranteed. He was really excited about it on Twitter, on X, saying that he's ready to, that there's been some up and downs in the New York Jets franchise while he's been there, but he's glad to have got this extension done and keep it moving forward. For the team itself, I mean, dude, you bring in Justin Fields, a quarterback that he's played with in college. Maybe it can work out for the best for them. I mean, they brought in a new head coach from the Detroit Lions, the DC. I mean, he looks like a person that can really change around a culture, and that's what you really want in a head coach that can bring some attitude, some grit, and obviously some intelligence for sure. But you keep Garrett Wilson, one of the top receivers in the league right now. You match him up with his old quarterback. Next thing you know, man, they're doing a lot of great things out there, bro. And hey, who's to say that the Jets can't really take it deep this year and go into a wild card or go into deep into the playoffs? Who's to say?
Yeah, exactly. And you look at, in the NFL specifically, a lot of times when a guy leaves the team and goes to free agency, they end up staying in the division, right? And
Mhm.
it's kind of a weird thing, but a lot of team players have said that they like to stay because that's the teams they play the most. So they're used to those areas. They can kind of picture the family there. They kind of
Yeah.
have the easy fall. So fine, right? You don't want Garrett Wilson to end up in New England, a team that could easily take receivers and
Mhm.
have a better young quarterback with Mac Jones and start building something there with new coaches and you don't want to fall behind the eight ball again. So this is a good opportunity. Just lock them up, like you said. You got great talent. Don't look ahead. Just lock up what you have and to take a chance.
Yeah, facts. And another player that they locked up is CJ Gardner, man. They gave him a fat contract to extension, 4 years as well. This is a lengthy, just like Garrett Wilson. They both end at the same time. 120.4 million dollars, guaranteed 85.653 million guaranteed, and it makes him the two-time pro, becomes the NFL's highest paid cornerback in the league right now with $30.1 million per year. Same thing with him. Do you think it is worth it for him? Do you think he should have got some more money? Should he less? What do you think?
I'm good with it again. I mean, it's almost the same situation. I know that Sauce Gardner's kind of gotten a lot of praise for being one of the best corners in the league and stuff like that. But statistically, over the past two seasons, towards the end of the years, they started to fade defensively, and that's not just him, but the entire Jets team in general. But if you're going to start somewhere with a defensive coach like Glenn coming in from Detroit, like you mentioned, you have to have your guy on defense. And I know he's young, but he's vocal, and I don't know if he's always going to say the mature thing, but at least he's going to say something. And this is a team that doesn't really have a lot of bragging rights right now. So I'm good with the contract. Unfortunately, you just have to spend money. The Bengals with T. Higgins and Chase and Burrow and people making all these things. At the end of the day, once the games are going and these guys are catching touchdowns and everything's looking good, nobody's going to care about the money. Sauce Gardner's playing great on defense. Garrett Wilson's playing great on offense. See what happens. They get conventional or crazy with Justin Fields. But either way, you have each side of the field. You have a voice that you can lean on that's young and locked up for years to go.
Yeah, definitely. Again, like you got to pay your players, bro. Your big time players, especially on both sides of the ball. CJ Gardner is one of those guys can definitely stop any receiver in the league. Not saying that he's going to stop them completely. They're not going to get some catches. They're not going to get some yards. They're not going to get touchdowns. But he is an X factor on defense for sure against receivers and even against running backs as well because he tackles very well. If anything, some people might be mistaken sometimes that he plays safety, but obviously he plays corner. But definitely I feel like he does deserve this money. The Jets did another good thing here, signing both for them, keeping them together, and keeping their top dogs for the future in line and intact for the New York Jets. And hopefully, maybe they could do something. But at the end of the day, like how I've been saying, and you said it before, you got to keep your players together. You got to spend the money if you want to win. You got to.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since the Jets have done the right things and new coach jumping right into the right decision. So it's good to see that for them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Football's around the corner, but dog. Football is around the corner, man. I cannot wait for that, bro. I mean, both our teams right now, I would say your team is a little bit better for sure. I think when it comes to the expectations of you guys winning games and getting into the playoffs and stuff like that, for me, I wouldn't expect the Dallas Cowboys to be getting into the playoffs this year just because of our defense. But I know you're in a similar situation with your defense as well. But before we move on to the next topic, I know there's something that we weren't really going to talk about, but are you excited for the upcoming season when it comes to getting into the postseason and maybe going deep in the postseason?
Yeah, I am. Honestly, the only thing that keeps us from being a Super Bowl contender is just getting into the playoffs, right? That first month of the season, making up for the 1-3 starts every year and all that kind of stuff. Realistically, I think once we're in, the teams that we're matched up against, and I'm not just saying record wise, I know the Ravens beat us in 2 crazy games, but Joe Burrow had 9 touchdowns and whatnot. But I think we can beat the Ravens. I think we've proven we can beat the Chiefs. The Bills we own. So the teams that everyone seems to struggle against, we have a good shot against, especially because we seem to end the season so well. So yeah, if we can have a decent regular season, just sneak in, I don't care what seed or anything like that, then sure, I'm once we're in, the expectation's the entire thing. And I know the same thing with you guys. You win 10+ games every year, and then it fizzles. But do you feel like this is the year that can change, or do you think this is more of the same?
I think it's more of the same. I'm pretty excited for our offense for sure. Like especially when it comes to the passing game. Dak hasn't really had a good second receiver as good as George Pickens in a little while. Yeah, we had Brandon Cooks, but he wasn't really doing so much to help out CeeDee Lamb out there. Amari Cooper when he was here was doing work, but then we let him go. So I think our passing game is going to be very electrifying and it's going to be very exciting for us Dallas Cowboys fans. But when it comes to our rush game, I'm still I would say even below average on iffy. I just don't see the positive with the 3 running backs that we have. One running back, Javonte Williams, who's supposed to be coming into the league, was supposed to be a greatness of a running back, a dude that will just run over anybody. And you try to tackle him, it's going to be hard for you to tackle him. Some people compared him to Derrick Henry. Then he had those knee injuries, messed him up, and now he's coming into a healthy. First time he's coming into a season healthy, so maybe there's a little bit positive right there, but even then, he didn't show me a lot of praise for a running back. Same thing with Miles Sanders. He had one good season, and then after that, it really didn't really go anywhere. And then, dude, maybe the rookie the rookie that we picked up, maybe he could do some work, but we still got to see what's up. But when it comes to the defense, man, the secondary, bro, I have no hope right now. Like I feel like we need a veteran presence to come in and teach them how to read the field, how to be strategic, how to be dogs at times. Because sometimes, man, you be seeing some plays go, and it's just like, yo, what is going on? Who are we covering? Who are we tackling? Like it's just
The
crazy to
Green Bay
see.
playoff game. The Green
Yes,
Bay playoff
yes,
game. Where
dude.
Jordan Love throws the ball. He leaves the guy short to the point where he has to turn around and catch it on his cleats, and then starts running upfield for 3 seconds before you see a defender. I've never seen that before. It's crazy.
It's just
And
there's
where are those
more.
people?
Yeah, there's more negative stuff that I see about us than I do see positive. So to answer your question, yes, I see more of the same. I don't see us getting into playoffs. I am completely wrong here, and as a Dallas Cowboys fan comes on one of the segments and just writes in the comments, "Oh, you're wrong, you're trash, you don't know what you're talking about." And I pray that happens, bro.
I think you guys can get it. I just want to see. It's once again. Are you going to do anything when you're there?
Exactly,
You know.
exactly. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to the NBA hardwood floors because there's some great news that came out today. Victor Wembanyama has been cleared to play after
Oh,
having deep vein, right shoulder tur- thrombosis. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong. Limited him to just 46 games last season, so he had a blood clot in his shoulder that really affected his livelihood. A lot of people thought that he wasn't even going to come back to play anymore, that he was going to retire. Obviously, that was just speculation in the beginning when people were just started finding out about it. Going back to what Chris Bosh did with the Miami Heat, he had to retire because he had blood clots in his legs. Completely different than your shoulder, but still, it's still something that you really need to watch for. So, um, Victor Wembanyama is cleared to play, and he will be back soon. Hopefully, he'll start a training camp. But with that being said, with that news today dropping for Wemby, well, what are your thoughts?
I love it, not just on a personal level for him, but for the Spurs overall. I'm excited about the Spurs in general. I like their young talent. I'm not saying that they're just gonna make this magical run to the finals or anything like that, but they have certain elements that the Pacers did have. Where you have your main leader in Wemby, but then you have De'Aaron Fox that kind of helps out. He's like your Miles Turner, opposite positions, but still, and just enough core guys like Castle and young players to maybe just do enough to get you upset. Maybe I don't know who they get in the first round, especially if they're sneaking in. I'm not thinking they're going to beat Denver or somebody like that or OKC, but just if they can make the playoffs this year, even if it's going through the play in and then getting in, that'll be great because I think that's a team that isn't far away from making some real noise. You look at the Raptors before Kawhi; that was a team that had a little bit of everything. That's the team I always compare to the Bucks before getting the Tampa Bay Bucks before getting Brady, where it's like all they need is that one thing. And if you really look at it, suddenly that roster has a different perspective. The Raptors were that, and I think the Spurs are getting close to being that too. I'm not saying that they're going to magically make cap space and add another star or anything like that. I just think this year, if he's healthy and they're good to go, a full year with the Fox deal and all that, who knows? I think they can slowly get into the West and be a competitive team that falls in that 6, 7 spot, but potential knockout of an upset. And I just want to see it because I like Wemby. He's one of my more liked players.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love it, bro. I mean, like any athlete's career that ends with some sort of injury, and an injury like this, that is something that you think about and you're like, man, what you just start thinking about the human life. Will he ever be able to even lift his arm again? Will he be able to do normal things around the house, or future when he has kids, or with his family members, his friends? Like, will he be able to do normal stuff? And then obviously you think about the professional sport that he plays. Is he going to be able to play again? Is he going to be able to practice again? How is he going to feel when he runs? How is he going to feel when he shoots? When he blocks shots? All this stuff goes crazy in your mind for a player when it comes to something like this, and it's just it's awesome to see that he was cleared. And that's God watching over him. That it's like, man, like we want you out there on the floor. You're meant to do this because honestly, like really thinking about it, I think Wemby can go down as one of the greatest to ever play the game. He has amazing defense. He has a sick shot. No one can cover him when he's under the rim. I think he's dunking on most likely anybody in NBA history. He has a nice little crossover, a nice little handles for his size. He's not a guard, obviously. He's not 6'2", and he's out here super fast and crossing people over and stuff. But for his size, he has a nice little crossover. He nice little handles. I think he has the complete package when it comes to being a basketball player. So the fact that he got cleared and he's able to play again and he's able to continue to pursue his career and continue to show his greatness and continue to progress, I think is amazing to see, man. And just the fact that he's not gonna have these health issues. Obviously, you're not gonna know what's gonna happen in the future. But for right now, he's cleared and he doesn't have any health issues. That's great to see for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I'm excited to see what he does because, like you said, he could be a generational talent, and
Hmm.
he's already shown enough to make you go, okay, well, yeah, not just off the height, but on the court. We've seen enough there, and I'm kind of glad he doesn't have too much of a game. I don't want him. A lot of star players will tell you, you develop your 2 or 3 go-to moves, and you work from there.
Yep.
He's starting to show that, and I like him. I love the game, so I want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And just thinking about it now, because I've seen several posts throughout X, throughout TikTok, throughout IG, and it's like, who would you rather choose? And this is gonna go on to the list of the NBA top 100 next, but who would you rather choose to start a franchise? Wemby, Braun, or MJ? And when you think about it, it's like,
Prime.
yeah, and I'm not gonna say it's an easy answer, but when you think about it, I feel like you gotta put a lot of thought into it because Wemby can be that player that you choose with all the stuff that he can do. So it's like,
Yeah, because of the balance, right? Because now,
yep,
if the typical lineup would have been Jordan because he's kind of like your guard play, LeBron because he's kind of in the middle of the pack, he can do a little bit of everything, and then a big, maybe like Shaq. That's usually your typical third. But
mhm,
like you said, yeah, Shaq kind of would be another person. Like if you were taking out Wemby, where you just go, well, I'll take the dominance of in the paint Shaq. But
yeah,
regardless of what again, guard play. But now you had Wemby, like you said, he can shoot the three. In today's game, that's a big deal. He can go in the basket. He plays great defense. He's active. He says the right things. He's willing to do whatever. He's not a problem off the court. I'm not saying that LeBron and Jordan are, but you know what I mean. Like, obviously, I'm still going to go in that general order of Jordan, LeBron, Wemby, but talent wise and how that fits today's game and what we haven't even seen yet, how he could develop and super young, there's no way that we can't say that 10 years from now this could be a different thing. Remember Jokic coming in, nobody would have put Jokic in this conversation, but now if I said, well, Jokic, like, okay, well, this guy could have easily won like 5 MVPs in a row. What if he continues this streak for another 3 or 4 years? What do you think of Jokic then? Imagine what
yeah,
Wemby could do for 20 more years. You know,
exactly. Yep.
so we'll see.
Yep. Crazy, crazy. And it goes on to the next thing we're going to talk about with this list, man, because the Bleacher Report put out a list of NBA top 100. Obviously, we're not going to go through all 100, but the top 20 is worth something to talk about. Um, you know, there's a lot of controversy going on with this list. Obviously, everybody has their own opinion. With something like this, it's very subjective. Very subjective. It's not objective. It's very subjective with this. But do you have any first initial thoughts with this list?
Oh, I do. And I have some notes.
Okay. Okay.
I
Let's go.
did this earlier in my own world, right? So,
Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. So just bring up your first thought.
okay, I'll bring up my first thought. We'll take turns, right? So my first thought starts very near the top. I don't remember where Billups is in terms of like 99 or 100, but just something. I'm going to come back to that. 98, Klay Thompson. 88, Draymond Green. So I don't understand this perception that Draymond is more valuable than Klay because Draymond's a great player. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve whatever. I mean, I don't know what I would have for 100 to, like, let's just say I agreed with this list other than those two players. I don't know what I would have from 100 to 150 in terms of leftover players. But there was never a time that I thought Draymond was more valuable than Klay Thompson on that Warriors dynasty teams. In fact, the times that Klay missed time, the Warriors didn't even make the playoffs. And when they did make the playoffs, they were bounced early or swept in the play-in, right? So I don't understand where they're getting this perspective that Draymond should be above Klay. And between those two at 93 is Jason Tatum. There's no one in the world that, as I said, to start, hey, who are you taking, Draymond or Tatum? Is taking Draymond. And I get that there's the perspective of, okay, well, he's got more titles. He's a key piece of the team. It's like the Rodman effect. You don't start the team with him, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have value. Don't care. Jason Tatum is so much better of a player than Draymond Green in so many avenues that there's no way, even if you see him as an iso ball guy or whatever the hell, I'm putting him above him, especially since they got Jimmy Butler at 83, showing that they have value to those type of players. So that's my first thing to know. I'll shut up from that. What do you
Okay.
get?
So just going off of this, no, I don't think Draymond is better than Klay Thompson, and of course, I do not think he's better than Jason Tatum. The reason why I think that they put him there though is because of the defense, right? It's the defense. They think that his defense, which I do believe his defense is great. I'm not saying that it's not, but I don't think it's that level of greatness to put it above one a Klay Thompson player that plays amazing defense as well. Obviously, he does not now because he is older, but when he was at his peak in 2014, 15, 16, 17, before he got injured, well, he got injured in 19, but
Yeah.
there was like a 2-year period that he was injured, obviously. Before he got injured, he had amazing defense against any perimeter player. Yes, the interior defense wasn't as obsolete for sure, but he had crazy stroke game when it comes to shooting the three ball, when it comes to shooting the mid range. He didn't take a lot of layups and stuff like that. That was more Steph Curry side of stuff. But this guy was automatic, and he's in the top. If you look at posts around the social media, and even on news cycles, he's like top 5, top 6. No, I would say top 5 in shooting the ball in NBA history.
Yeah,
A lot of people would say,
all time.
a
Yeah,
lot of
you can't put
people
him
would say
outside
that.
top 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say that. So to put Draymond before that, where Draymond barely has a layup package, barely has a dunk package, and absolutely does not have a three-point package, it's hard for me to say that a two-way player is below a defensive player. It's hard for me to say that.
Yeah, especially with Rodman at 67. I see they have the value there, and I get that, and I'm all for that, even if it is just defense, right? Because, other guys are going to be on this list, Alonzo Mourning, blah, blah, blah. We know they didn't play offense. But like you said, Clay played offense and defense. And I don't think Draymond's defense was so supreme and important that it surpasses everything Clay did. So that was kind of weird to me. But your turn.
Nah, and with Tatum, I'm sorry, with Tatum, Tatum's the same kind of player as Clay, but he has more of a layup package, dunk package, and he has better one-on-one ISO moves. So for that to be behind Draymond is insane to me. It's insane.
And he's won a title. And at least gotten to the finals too.
Yes, and he was one of the main players to be in that team to win the title, because obviously the Finals MVP went to Jaylen Brown. But if there was an MVP for the playoffs, it would go to Tatum.
And Tatum led like every single stat against Jaylen Brown. It just looked like he wasn't doing well.
Yeah, no, because he shot the ball so much, and his efficiency wasn't there. But
he played other.
Whatever, it don't matter. To me, and this is something else. I'm gonna just pivot a little bit right here. To me, like, yes, I think there should be a Finals MVP, but I think there should be a playoffs MVP as well. Like, if you do good first round, second round, Eastern Conference Finals, and then in the finals, you have some bad days. Like, what? The finals is what, 2 weeks? Sometimes
what is that? What's that East? Is that the Eastern Conference thing? Is that just for the Eastern Conference Finals?
It's just for the Eastern Conference. Yeah, it's not for the first round.
That should be the whole East, and the other one should be the whole West. The path there, not just for the conference.
I don't get it. I don't get why it's just for one round. Like, for that, all right, the best player of the first round, the best player of the second round. Like, I don't get that. I don't know.
And it's not. Yeah, you're gonna have the same player most of the time anyway because they got that far because they played well. So just make it for the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, my first initial thought. Well, I'll be honest. My first initial thought. This is something that you and I have already had a conversation on, and this I'm not gonna bring it up here because the conversation is had with everybody. But I do believe Braun should be above MJ. But we're not gonna talk about that. We'll move on to other stuff because that conversation is had all over the damn world. But I don't know if Steph Curry is above Kobe. I don't know, right? And the reason why I don't really know is because Kobe had Shaq those first 3 championships, right? And Shaq was the best player, in my opinion, of all those championship runs. I think arguably, like, he takes the throne for sure for me. I know that other people think that Kobe should have had more praise and all this stuff, but I think without Shaq, I don't even think they get to the second round of the playoffs, in my opinion. But when those other 2 championships with Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom, Ron Artest, and them boys, like, Kobe was dropping 34, 35 a freaking night, right?
Yeah.
Curry was doing his thing in no championships, right? But the first championship, he had Clay, he had Harrison Barnes that was probably dropping 10, 15 points a game. He had Lance Stevenson coming off the bench, which did not miss a shot.
No, that was Sean Livingston.
Sean Livingston. I'm sorry. I got the names. My bad. Sean Livingston. He did not miss a shot for nothing. They had a great core there. Then the other two championships, he had Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson with a nice core coming off the bench. The fourth one against your Celtics was the one that was very impressive to me. I think that was the most impressive one, right? Because the first championship, they went up against LeBron. Kyrie Irving was injured. Kevin Love out that first game, did not play the whole series. And then the other two, he had Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant makes a big difference. The fourth one, that was very impressive because you guys had a star-studded team as well, and you guys were just going back and forth. But then it was just the experience, right? But that one, I have no argument for that. I think that was very impressive to me that the Warriors beat you guys and got that championship. But Kobe, man, Kobe was dropping 35 a night. He was carrying these dudes. He went up against a Boston Celtics team that had 5 All-Stars, bro. 5. I'm obviously not on paper, but like if you really put it together, they had like 5 All-Stars, bro, and a great bench as well, a great bench. And it was not that he faced them once, he faced them twice. He lost to them once, came back, redeemed himself, bro. I don't know, man. I don't put Curry above Kobe.
Okay, so my next thing was going to focus on that same spot as well. But for this part of it, I'll focus on the Kobe side. So, like you said about the LeBron Jordan thing, you're not going to get into it, whatever. I have Kobe at number 2 all time behind Jordan. Okay. Not going to get into it, but Kobe's standing there and Jordan's already picked, and I have the whole world in front of me for one game. I know what I'm getting from Kobe, so I'm taking him, right? So like you said, not just that. I think also the title run where they beat the Pacers. Oh, no, my bad. They beat the Sixers, and they only had the one loss in the playoffs, which was to Iverson, and the Sixers in the finals. But the rest of the playoffs, they swept through in the West. Kobe was dominating a lot of that. So I think that, yes, Shaq was amazing. We know that. But in that playoff run, Kobe, even if you give one out of those 3, Kobe, coupled with taking Paul Gasol, a lot of people thought he wasn't a next-tier player. I think Paul Gasol's supremely underrated, one of the best offensive footwork players in my lifetime, but never gets the credit because he's not a big defensive guy. But he's amazing on offense in the low post. He had left-hand hook, right-hand hook, anytime he wanted, and a good passer. So, sure. But either way, I think the Steph thing is crazy to me. Like, yeah, like obviously if I have Kobe at 2, I have him above a lot of other guys, and it's like a favorite song thing. You can ask me today what my favorite song is, and next week is a different song, and then you'll tell me, hey, I thought this was it, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Like it goes so back and forth when you have guys like Shaq and Matt.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, this is subjective.
Yeah.
Subjective
thing. Yeah, but I'm gonna focus on the Steph thing because that was gonna be where I was going next.
Yeah.
Top point guards of all time, just staying in the position. I know he's a shooter, but you know what I mean. You got Magic Johnson at 4 on this list, right? You're being your best point guard of all time. Fine with that. Not even going to debate it. I know he's not a jump shooter, but it didn't matter. Still got it done. That would make Steph the number 2 all time, which I do not have Steph above Isaiah Thomas on Detroit, who Isaiah Thomas is number 27. Now, granted, if you were to go back and forth with me, there's plenty of times where I'm like, yeah, you might be right. Steph might be better, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But what Isaiah Thomas was doing at the time, yes, Dumars was coming up offensively, but that was a defensive team. And Isaiah Thomas took that defensive team to be, great. They were an amazing defensive team, granted. But he carried them offensively. And I loved his game. He's a go-to bucket when he wants it. In a physical league, as a non-3-point shooting point guard, at that time, that wasn't a big deal. So there's that. Now, the other part of it is, this is more my part that I was going to get into, is they have Dame at 64 and Tony Parker at 86. And then coupled with the Chauncey Billups at 99 or 100, I forget, right? I think Billups, Parker, and, well, let's just take it those 2. Billups and Parker are more of the traditional point guard guys that lead a team. Maybe you don't start your team with them, but they're great and they ascend and they beat out all kinds of great players in the meantime. Chris Paul was somebody who was super dominant. He's on this list too, obviously, who was coming up with the Hornets. He was amazing. Tony Parker, I wouldn't say outplayed him, but did well enough to get by. He outplayed Steve Nash at times during an MVP run. He outplayed Ron Williams, who was another guy at that time. That was a big deal. So underappreciated. Jimmy Butler. Chauncey Billups, the same thing on the other side. Underappreciated point guard, balanced, was able to hit big shots, clutch. He did a lot of stuff late. What I don't get is how you have, if you say, not you, but if the list is like we were talking about with Tatum, where it's like, okay, Draymond's up there because he plays defense and that's a heavy thing, but then Tatum is, ISO ball player, so he can do a little bit of everything. Sure, it's easy to start with Tatum, but I see the value in Draymond. How do you have guys that you see the value in, like Tony Parker and Billups, listed higher, worse than Dame at 64? Because Dame is a guy you can actually start your team with and he can score and stuff like that, even though he's unproven and he's never gotten over the top. And he had the Warriors injured and he had his team and they looked like crap and got bounced when he was on Portland in shame. I'll never let him live on that. Went to Milwaukee, wasn't able to do anything there. I know he got hurt, but still, they were going nowhere. And then, fine, if you want to say it's because you start the guy, he's a better person to start your team with, cool, right? But then you have Kyrie at 69, also behind him. Whereas Kyrie is a more proven player. He's done more. He's won a title. He showed up in the big moments. And he's still perceived as one of the best ball handlers of all time. I know that's not a winning attribute or anything. But still, I just think the point guard aspect of this is all over the place. I know Stockton's
the whole list is all over the place, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I know it's meant for this. It's meant for this stuff right here, right? But, like, goodness, it's very confusing how they want to approach that, because usually you can find something like, this guy, like you said, he has value for defense. Mm-hmm. That's why. But then it contradicts itself left and right. So that's kind of my next point on there. It's the point guard list. Who do you have as your top 5 point guards all time? It could be loose. I'm not going to call you out on this. This is on the spot. But what do you have as your top 5 point guards? Just so I can see what that looks like in your mind.
Magic, Stockton.
Yeah. I'll throw some names out there just so you can have them in your head. Chris Paul, Steph. I don't put Iverson in there. Some people do. I won it. Tony Parker, Billups is on here. Steve Nash is on here. Jason Kidd. And then there's, super old school guys.
I want to say Curry at 3, right? It's just that, to me, he's not a traditional point guard. Like, I see him as more of a 2 guard for me.
Sure.
So if I'm saying that I see him as more of a 2 guard, I won't put him in the top 5. So
all right, wait, let's say you have to put him in there just for this thing.
Huh?
Let's count him as a point guard for today. We'll leave Iverson as a shooting guard.
Okay, so Magic, Curry, Stockton, CP3, Steve Nash.
Okay, I'm good with that. I'd probably go Magic, Thomas, Steph, maybe Stockton there, and then Jason Kidd or Nash is fine too.
Okay.
So yeah, just want to see where you stand.
Again, I see Curry as a 2 guard, right? Not saying he doesn't pass the ball, not saying he doesn't play make, not saying he doesn't get these assists and none of that, but he's a first shooter. He's a shooter first. He shoot the ball before anything else. So I see him as a 2 guard because that's what a 2 guard does. That's why they're called shooting guards, because they shoot the ball. And that's what I see Curry as. As a point guard, you set up the offense, you run the plays, you facilitate the rock, you get your teammates open, you set up the right play to win the games. That's what a point guard does to me. Magic Johnson did that amazingly. Stockton obviously did that incredibly. CP3, like any team that he has gone to, he has transformed from a team that sucked to a team in the playoffs. So it's like, to me, that's what I see as a point guard. But if we're going to throw Steph Curry in the list, then yes, he would have to be in the top 3 because of how great his shooting is. 100%. He would have to.
Yeah. I have him at 3, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to ask you here. because I've just seen it on X. I haven't really put so much thought into it, but I saw it on X, so I wanted to see what you thought. A lot of people want to switch Duncan and Bird. Do you agree with that, or do you like that Bird is behind Duncan?
Where is Bird? Oh, at 8. So
8.
that's another thing,
Duncan
right?
7.
So Tim Duncan and Kobe have the exact same career, same titles, same stat lines, and how they approach things. Everything's the same. They're pretty much the same person. Shooting guard, power forward. So if you have Duncan at 7 because of that appreciation, Kobe should be lower because of that. Now, Larry Bird, top 3 favorite player all time for me. Love him, but I think once you get into that top, and let's call it 9 because we're debating the stats thing, right?
Yeah.
It's clearly leveraged by rings because I don't think Russell, and I know there's the eras and things like that. I don't think Russell is as good a player as Duncan is. I don't think Russell is as good a player as Larry was or Wilt. That, maybe a step below that. So I would move Russell out to maybe 9 or 10. But because he has so many rings, his appreciation goes to 5. So sure, I think you could say Larry was a better player than Duncan in terms of what he could do and he was flashy and stuff like that. But Duncan was just so fundamental and straight to the point and got the job done so consistently in an era of bigs that were very good that I'm okay with him being there. If anything, I would just move Russell beyond both of those two and move them down because I don't think the rings at that time, winning 8 titles in a row and stuff like that, the things the Celtics were doing, were as impressive as they would have been maybe in that late 90s, early 2000s. But
Like,
again,
I'm
right?
sorry. I'm sorry. I was gonna say like the whole ring aspect of it. It's like it's very contradicting here
It
because
is. I don't know.
like they have KG in front of Jokic, right?
Probably the defense.
They both have one ring. No, no, no. I get it. It's because of the defense, 100%. But KG's never won an MVP.
Yeah, it's tough. Actually, in my own thing, I talked about the Dirk Jokic KG thing. I was okay with those 3 lined up. Dirk has the most valuable ring out of all those guys. He probably has the best playoff run
In
ever.
history. Yeah, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I love. Yeah, and maybe the Jordan Utah Jazz, right? Game 6. But other than that, that's the best playoff run of all time, I think. Then Jokic, probably because he kind of gets an incomplete. We know he's going to do more. So I think the perception here is like we're going to go Jokic better than Dirk for now, not as impactful as KG yet, just because we know what KG's longevity was of being great. Whereas Jokic will eventually probably surpass KG here with even maybe half-ass effort. So I'm okay with it. But like you said, once you get in that top 10, 15, it's so ring heavy that they're starting to use that as the bias, I think,
Yeah.
because, I mean, how many MVPs does Jokic have to win and not be in the top 10 if that's the case, right? Like, let's say that they could easily win the title this year. As we mentioned, we talked about the offseason that I thought Denver had the best. I think they're stacked. I think they're ready to go in the West. Went to Game 7 with the banged up Aaron Gordon and still almost won that with freaking Porter Jr. playing as good as the guys who have second downs at Lake Mary. Like they could easily win another ring. They can win a ring. And what happens if he wins a ring there and he has MVP this year, right? Or even in that conversation, you're going to have to. How many people is he passing at that point? 2 titles, another MVP. Like you're going to put him ahead of Larry at that point. You put him ahead of Wilt. Like what will he have to do? Because where's Giannis on this thing, by the way?
Bro, honestly, I was looking down at the list. Let me see.
Okay. I know and I'm not saying he needs to be in this conversation
He's
per
right.
se.
He's right behind Wade at 24.
Okay. All right. So 24. Not bad, right? I think Wade a much better overall player than Giannis is. But even still, another guy that let's just say he won another MVP and a title. How many spots are you going to jump with these guys? Because, like you mentioned, the ring bias is very heavy on this lower part, uh, which I get it. That's kind of what the separation needs to be. but you set it up in a situation where there is no winning for Jokic. There's no way Jokic could ever get into the top 5 based on that.
But
and he's doing it without a number 2. I mean, I love Murray, but you know what I mean. He's not Kobe.
my thing is, bro, basketball is a team sport. You put Jokic on. You put Jokic with the Celtics right now, they win so many chips. They win so many.
We win every year.
Like,
we win every year.
So
every year.
We can't. In my opinion, I don't think we should be putting in the chips at all. I think we should just go by the players' individual play, right? Like, yes, I guess we have to throw in the success, but again, like the success comes with the other players on the team as well. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just like how we were saying with Steph. Steph didn't win these rings without Klay Thompson and Draymond Green.
He wasn't even getting to the playoffs without those guys.
Exactly. He wasn't getting into the playoffs without them.
It's not us just like saying that. He wasn't. We saw it not happen. So,
and then
I hear you.
The same thing with Duncan. Duncan wasn't getting in the playoffs without Ginobili or Tony Parker or David Robinson.
Yeah,
not saying that he's not a great player. Yes, I believe he's a great player. He's a incredible fucking backboard shot off the side of the backboard and into the damn hoop, and great defender when it comes to the interior. But does he win all those rings without Greg Popovich, without Tony Parker, without Manu Ginobili, without David Robinson? Does he? That's the question. Does he?
I think that's what happens in that top 8 there, 9 maybe, is everyone has that what if, and it becomes such a big what if that you have to lean on it. And I think if I look at your individual game, like you said, let's forget the rings, and I see that you have the ability to be a winning player, which I don't see, and I'm not trying to knock him over and over again, but I don't see Dame as a winning style player. Not saying he can't be, but the things that you remember about Dame, the deep threes, that kind of stuff, like,
but no defense.
It's cute. Yeah, it's cute, but you're not going to win a title.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, so that kind of thing. I don't see that as a winning style player. Mm-hmm. I think that top 18, maybe 20, because I didn't know. I don't have that. Oh, you have 20 right there. David Robinson, I think David Robinson is a little high on that list. He's not a super offensive player. I know he had that season with the scoring title and all that, but consistently, he kind of became a defensive player fast. Mm-hmm. But either way,
same thing with Dirk. Dirk wasn't a defensive player. He was just straight offense.
No, yeah. So I think when you focus on the skill set of a player and you realize, okay, was that winning style player? I'd say the top 15, I'm not saying 15 to 20 isn't, but top 15 for sure, those are winning style players.
Yeah.
And then from there, you go, okay, well, now that we got all these guys as winning style players, and now that all these guys, we could easily say, what if to? Yeah, the stupid rings, unfortunately. Because I don't think I'm a huge stuff.
Okay, so going off of what you're saying, and obviously it's not you, but I'm saying if Bleacher Report is thinking the way that you're saying right now, why is Steph in front of Kobe?
And that's my point.
It's like
Steph is not ahead of Kobe.
That's what.
Why does Kobe get so disrespectful?
I agree. I agree with what you said earlier. This list is all over the place. It's all over the place. It's very subjective. What if? Okay, so going back to number 1 and number 2, what if? Because I feel like the people that put this list together is a group. It's not just one person or it's not just 2 people. It's a group. Like, it's a committee that put this list together, right? What if one side of the group is more favored to MJ, and what if one side of the group was more favored to Bron? Does it change up the list? Because it's very subjective.
I think so. I think so, because the reason you pick one over the other is, okay, like, yeah, LeBron, and LeBron could do a little bit of everything and MJ can't, but MJ is one of the best defenders on the perimeter of all time, and he's obviously the most dominant perimeter player of all time in terms of his game.
I mean, I would disagree there.
What do you mean? And what side?
That I think MJ can do everything in the game.
No, that's my point. Yeah, that's actually where I was getting to. Is that he's perceived as someone who can't do
No,
everything.
yeah,
He's a
yeah.
great
Okay,
passer,
okay.
but he can do everything. But I think the perception on a lot of things is that he's kind of a one-trick pony. He scores you, and that's all he can do. And then LeBron's like kind of the balance player that makes everybody else better. If I thought I was a LeBron person based on those attitudes, then sure, maybe I go, okay, well, who makes my team better, right? I'm going to put Steph a little better. Duncan's a nice, calm player that just compliments everybody. Shaq was so, like whatever. So, one-sided, he couldn't shoot. So maybe I put someone like Jokic a little higher, right? Whereas if I'm a Jordan guy, Kobe's going to be better. Shaq's going to be better because he's a one-punch dominant player in the paint. Kareem is fine with where he is. Larry was a flashy, beautiful player. The flashy shooter types would probably come up a little higher. So, yeah, I guess the perspective changes based on what you feel on that Jordan LeBron part, because you probably side with certain players. Like I would say, if you had a list, those lists would probably be similar if you're one person or another. But these things, like I said, the inconsistencies across the list are the annoyance there. And I get it. Once you get to like 30 and up, you're just going to like lazy out a little bit. Like it's not as important. So maybe putting somebody like Embiid at 66, who, yeah, he has the MVP that he literally asked for and got it. Not that he didn't play good. Jokic outplayed him. Like, Jokic outplayed him in that year. And I'm not saying he never deserves to be an MVP because he had some good seasons. But like you have Rodman at 67 and you have Embiid at 66. Okay, so what are those two? How are those two so close to each other? If one of them is a primary offensive player who won the MVP, as you perceive as a well-rounded player because he's so high on this list, and one only brings defense, but at the highest level of all time. But then you got Dame at 64, who's achieved neither. And it's like, okay, well, how does that happen? Like in that case, like it's very, I get it. Like I said, once you get to like 39, you get lazy. But sheesh.
So what I think is right is that I think we could both agree here that they started at 1 going down, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I think that it went from 1 to like 30 or 40, and then after that they just started naming players.
Yeah, they're just like whatever. You got Paul George at 78, Grant Hill at 79. I think Vince Carter was 75 or something like that. So it's just like, yeah, whatever. They're all about the same. As long as we have them within 5 of each other, that's fine. Damn.
Yeah.
Grant Hill at 79. Talk about a what if. See, when Grant Hill
He could easily, if he never get injured, easily been in the top 20. Top 30.
Yeah. Honestly, you would have told me he could be in the top 15, top 10. I mean, he was a different player than I had ever seen in my life at that time.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's guys like Larry that could shoot and dribble and do little things like that. But as a slasher, as a ball handler, as a mid-range shooter, as kind of a sporty crossover guy, has the ability to do it on gritty defenders, like showing up, living in the moment, going against those Jordan Bulls teams in his young part on Detroit. Like I was, I didn't hate Detroit. But that's when they switched over to those fresh jerseys with the teal and the horse on it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm starting to like this team, like just based off of him alone. And I hated Detroit before then, but man, that's a big what if. Paul George at 78. You have him. I mean, I guess he has to be right just because of him actually getting the time to play. So there's that. But yeah, like you said, I think it
He
started
almost
at one.
won MVP one season. I think when was it? 2018,
The
17.
Indiana year.
No, the OKC year.
Oh, the OKC year. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Goodness, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he was like
That's
top
like I saw
3.
somebody.
He was like top 3
I
or
saw
something.
somebody. Yeah, I saw somebody like this is probably a few months ago now. Time flies with a Sean Marion Raptors jersey. I was like,
Damn,
so
crazy.
I was forgotten. Like, why do you even have that? So yeah, that's one I forgot all about. So yeah, oh, sheesh. National
But
League
yeah,
got
man,
5
wild long list for sure. Wild long list. I mean,
once again, Tatum disrespected.
yeah, no, I don't understand like why he's why
Hates
he's so low, and then another why he's behind Draymond. Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man, long list top 100 NBA players by Bleacher Report. Very subjective. Very subjective. But you know, a lot of people, I feel like what they can agree on is that a lot of people, not everybody, but what they can agree on is that 1 and 2 either gets flipped or it remains the same. I feel like a lot of people can agree on that. But very subjective. We still got a lot more years for the NBA, so this list can definitely freaking change. Do you know why they brought out this list? No, because it's not.
There was no reason for it. I don't
No
think there was
reason
any
for it.
like
They just
anniversary kind
yeah,
of thing.
right.
You know what I'm forgetting? Like what gosh, why do I can picture him perfectly. Laker player, um, during that like Magic Johnson run. Not George Gervin. He's
Worthy,
not.
James Worthy.
Worthy, James Worthy. James Worthy. Where was he out here? You have that whole list?
I did not see it. I didn't see where he
Oh,
was.
okay, yeah. I know he's in there because I remember just like glancing and seeing his name and like, huh. He's probably like in the 20 to 30 space, I guess. Man, I can't believe they have Isaiah Thomas at 27 comparatively. But Luca's probably freaking above most of those people too.
Man, yeah, I'm just looking at I'm going through 43, 44 right now.
Like down from 100 or up?
Going down
Okay.
like top
I say,
50.
whoa.
Fucking Ray Allen. Like how is Ray Allen, in my opinion, better than Dwight Howard? Because he's
That's a
won
tight one.
rings.
Yeah, I
Dude,
guess that
Dwight
is a tight
Howard
one.
was a freaking menace.
Yeah, but Ray Allen, I guess Ray Allen had his time where he was an individual player on other teams and then added on as a key clutch player for Celtics.
Look. So just the accolades. Well, I guess we'll go off the accolades. 2-time champ for Ray Allen. All NBA 1 time, 10-time All Star. Dwight Howard, 1-time champion, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time All Star, 8-time All NBA, 5-time All Defense, 5-time rebound champ, 2-time block champ. You're gonna tell me Ray Allen's better than? There's no way.
I
Just
mean,
off the accolades, like is what I'm saying.
off accolades, sure.
Yeah, off the accolades. Off the
But I
accolades.
think they're looking at that championship and saying, well, Ray Allen's championships are this
Yeah, he's more
level of
impactful for
importance.
sure, 100%.
Yeah. So,
100%.
but
But the
still,
thing
like you
is,
said,
bro,
Dwight Howard's another
Dwight Howard didn't
underappreciated.
have players around him. Like the next best player on that team was Jameer Nelson. And how many times Jameer Nelson's not even on this list?
That team was. I liked that team, but it was a gimmick built team. It was the start of the stretch four. Rashard Lewis coming from the 3 position to the 4. Guido Turkoglu, who was a 3, playing kind of like the 2 at
JJ
times.
Redick when he was young.
Jameer being, like you said, the point guard, whatever. That Michael Petras. Like, come on, but it was a fun team, and I loved it, especially being here to be able to go to the games. But yeah, he didn't have
And then they got
Kobe.
smacked by Kobe and the Lakers. Smacked.
No, yeah, and it sucks too. 'Cause it's one of those series where it's like if game 2 goes a little different, if they don't call the offensive
Yeah.
foul, the elbow to the face,
Mhm.
and then it's like the whole series is different. But every series in the history of sports is that way, so you can't even bother.
Yeah.
But good list so
But
far.
yeah,
Not good list on this fun talking about it.
I mean, it's a good list to talk about for sure. Definitely a
Yeah, this
conversation
is what
starter. If you're a
this
sports
is what
fan
they
and
want.
a basketball aficionado, definitely a conversation to have for sure.
Yeah, they're like, let's put these together and then jumble up every 5. We'll just jumble it up just to piss
Yeah.
people off. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
George,
we could go on and on about this list, man. But we gotta wrap it up and get up out of here because we are busy gentlemen out here. So CL, let these people know where they could watch your stuff, man, or just listen to your stuff, bro.
Hey, so Real CL Kid on all platforms, Talk CL Kid on Instagram as well for some sports stuff, things like this. Always glad to be on. Love talking with GMike, my boy, knows his stuff. Don't like his teams, but hey, we're good.
It happens.
Oh, just the heat. Everybody got something.
Guys, you can
Actually,
follow me on X George Mike Perez, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at GMike Media _. The audio version of this podcast is available on all podcast platforms and the video version on YouTube. And if you guys are into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel where we offer sports gambling slips to get you winnings from $10 to $50 to $100 a day, only $10 a month. And we have an affiliate program that gets you to get a little bit more money in your pocket. So if you're down with it, you'll see the link pop up on your screen. Just follow all the instructions of that link. Or if not, just write to me on one of my socials. We'll get a conversation started to see how to get you going. CL, if it don't rain tomorrow, we balling. If it rains,
all right. Well, we got a hurricane, so it's raining.
Yeah, let's see what this hurricane. Even LA, we can't even go to LA because I'm pretty sure no one's gonna go.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, thank you again, bro. And next week,
of course.
Next week we on.
Love it, man. I'm good every week for life.
Yes, sir.